My friends, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. What I have here is the Scaena tent from OneTigris. This is the Before You Buy episode, which deals with the setup process. How easy, how complex is it? That's what we're going over in this episode. Also, I will show you step by step how to set up this tent in both formations. There is a hasty setup where basically you use the ground sheet, the poles, and the fly, and then you have the full setup. Ground sheet, body, poles, fly. So everyone, let's go ahead and get to it with the hasty setup. As you all can see here, I have a ground sheet in place already, and that's because everything is thawing out. It is super muddy. So I'm going to use this in addition to the ground sheet that came with this tent. Anyways, step number one is to separate the components. You have the fly, you have the body and the poles, you have the tent stakes, and you have the ground sheet. Let's go ahead and take the ground sheet and let's unfold it. The ground sheet comes in this bag here. When it comes to putting this on the ground, you may be a little bit confused as to which side goes up. You'll see that one side is a little bit shinier than the other. And also you can see the seam tape. The shiny side, the side with the seam tape, it goes down. Now we need to open up the poles. With this tent, there are two of them. There's a spider pole and a shorty. This is the short pole here. Go ahead and put this to the side. Now go ahead and put together the spider pole. The next step for the hasty setup is to take the large pole and crisscross it across the ground sheet. Then go ahead, put the pole into the grommets in the corners. You will find that the poles do not want to stay in the grommets, so you may have to put them in, go to the other side, start, come back, put them in, and so on. To prevent the poles from coming out, try to put as much pressure on the poles and also on the ground sheet as possible. Take the pole, push it forward just like so. Do not let loose of that tension. Just like that. The reason that the poles will pop out of the grommets is because the grommets are oversized for these poles. At this point, my friends, it's time to move over to the fly. It doesn't matter how you put this over the poles, both ways will work. It's all about the orientation that you want. At this point, I recommend that you clip in one side of the fly. You have buckles in each of the corners. Go ahead and connect two of those. With the small pole, this is going to go underneath the fly, go across the top of the larger pole, and it's going to sit into the sleeve in the back and also here at the front. Just like that, the small pole is in place. Now you can move over to the remaining buckles. Now, my friends, you can pull each of the corners taut. And if you need to, you can attach the inside pole keeper straps. At this point, you need 3 tent stakes, one for each side and one for the back. How beneficial is this? It really depends on what you're doing with it. If your goal is to block out the sun, this works fine. If your goal is to block out rain, well, you have a serious problem here, don't you? This side cannot be sealed up. Also, if you plan to use this in the wind, make sure to stake out the corners because there is no front stakeout point, not unless you want to rig something up yourself. That was the hasty setup. Now let's focus on setting up the entire tent. Start with the ground sheet, take the body, throw it over the top. When doing this, pay close attention to the orientation of the tent. One side of the tent features a large door. The other side features no fly. So you may want to set this up in a way to protect the tent, to give it its best chance of being waterproof depending on the weather conditions. If there's a storm coming in, you know rain's coming in, you would want the side that is protected facing against that storm. Once you have the body over the ground sheet, you could either stake it out or move to the poles. Since it's not windy, I'm going to go ahead and move to the poles. As you did before, you will take the pole, you will put it into the grommet for the body. If you want to, you can also put it in the grommet for the ground sheet. That will hold the ground sheet into place with the body. You do not have to do this if you do not want to. But again, it does hold the ground sheet into place. Do the same as before. Keep tension on the pole so that it doesn't come out of the grommets on the other side. Now we're going to clip the body to the pole. What I like to do is to start on one end, clip 2, go to the other side, clip 2. Clip 2, then go to the other side. That will give you a nice even pitch as far as tension goes with the pole. If you did it the same way that I did, you will end up with a final clip in the center. You can clip this on the lowest pole, and it doesn't matter on which side you do it. Now we need the small pole. Take it, put it in the sleeves on the side, and lay it across the top of the tent. Go to the other side, and put the pole in the sleeve. Now it's time to move over to the fly. As you will see here, there's only one way for this to go. The other side of the tent features a mesh door. This side of the tent features an internal fly. You do not have an external fly on this side. From this point, I recommend that you pull back the top of the fly. You will find that sleeve. This sleeve is big enough to encompass this one. So go ahead and slide this one over that sleeve. Essentially what this is going to do is connect the fly to that center small pole that we put across the tent. You need to do that on both sides of the fly. The next step is one that you can skip if it's not windy, not breezy. On the inside of the fly, you have Velcro pole connectors. And basically you can undo these and you can attach these to the poles, and that makes the fly more stable, more secure with the body itself. You do not have to do this in fair conditions. You can skip this step, but if you expect it to get windy, if you think a storm's going to come through, go ahead and attach those. Once you have those done, or you haven't done them, it's time to move over to the buckles. This is where you're going to connect the fly to the body itself. Move over to the other side and connect the buckles as well. At this point, friends, go ahead, tension the fly. Do this on both sides. From there, my friends, grab 4 tent stakes. Once you have the 4 tent stakes, stake out the following. Start with the front of the tent. Then move to the other side. Then stake out the sides. From there, folks, you walk around the tent, you make any adjustments that you need to, and you are done. You are done. That is the setup of the OneTigris Scaena tent. Take a look at this side. This is so unusual. Only a few times in my lifetime have I seen internal flies. This is very unique. When was the last time that you saw a design like this? I guarantee it's been a while. It's been a while. Anyways, folks, that is how you go about setting up this tent in both formations. That's that. As far as difficulty goes, neither one of these is difficult. The setup process is very much straightforward, very much easy. There's no big complaints here, there's no big surprises, there's no difficulties. So as far as ease goes, on a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being the easiest, this is a 9. It's right up there with being the easiest of setups. Again, there's nothing complicated, there's nothing difficult. Everything is very, very straightforward. As far as the Hasty Setup goes, how usable, how functional is that? Not very functional, not very usable. It's all about keeping the sun out, and that's about it. Because you have this open fly, it does not keep the rain out, which is a shame. And that is a big drawback for the design of this fly. Because of the design, it limits usability. For this episode of Before You Buy, that is that. Make sure to comment down below and share your thoughts. What do you all think about this tent? What do you think about the setup process? My review of this tent will be coming up very soon. I have a lot of testing to do. Is this tent waterproof? I don't know. We will find out together. That's what this channel is all about. It's about information. Before you go, hit the like button because it does help the channel. You can support the TOGR on Patreon or here on YouTube. It is appreciated. Everyone, take care, be well, strength and honor. Bye for now.